Everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk Safe Money. I'm your host today, 𝒂𝒂𝒄𝒕𝒊𝒗𝒆, with my special guest, Mr. Lynn Strickler of LS Financial. Welcome back to the show, Lynn.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Good to be here.
It's always good to see you, brother. Always good. And listen, I mean, the difference we're making today, I mean, what you guys do in the community with just, you know, people's retirement, I mean, it's a big part of their lives.
Absolutely.
You work your whole life to save, right? And you just want to make sure things are right.
Right, absolutely. And we take that very seriously. I mean, this is, you know, like you said, they got one shot at this.
One shot.
Right?
Yes.
And so we want to make sure we really help them. And I want to make sure I get folks safe.
Yeah.
A portion of that money's got to be safe.
Got to be safe. That's the topic, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about locations. I understand you have a really nice footprint of locations for folks for convenience purposes.
Yeah, we hit in pretty much all of South Florida.
Yeah.
Where headquarters is in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
We've got, of course, my team, CPA on board, a co-founder with us, right? And she does a lot of the tax work for us. Mm-hmm. She's also a registered investment advisor, so we can obviously manage money for folks. And we're not against the market, by the way.
Right, right.
I'm just putting a preaching out here, if you will, to get your money safe.
Yeah.
I got hit hard in '08. I got hit hard.
You and a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people. So I don't want anybody, folks, you'll never look at me and say, I lost your money. It's not going to happen, because that's not what I do, right? So that's important to make sure they have their money's there. But I got Carrie, she's one of the co-founders. I got my partner, Art, who I call the master chef. You know, and we do all these funny things with recipes and all on YouTube. It's kind of funny. But, but he's really good. He's been doing it 32 years. But our headquarters is there. And then we got my lovely wife, Carolina, my new wife.
Oh, congratulations.
She's our director of client relations.
Okay.
She worked 32 years for a group of doctors, cardiologists, for 32 years.
Wow.
The same group.
Really?
Yeah. Talk about loyalty.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so we got, you know, our team there, and then we do some work out in Texas, because Carrie's got an office in Texas. We got an office in Bonita Springs, also Sarasota.
Wow.
And so we kind of do the south part. You know, West Palm, we got an office up there as well. So yeah, we hit the whole area south of Orlando, I guess you'd say.
So many ways for people to get in touch with you.
Absolutely,
and meet with you. That's good stuff. And
by the way, we'll go see them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're like the old doctors who used to make house calls.
You're kidding me.
No, we do. Especially a lot of our elderly clients, right? And we help a lot of ladies, you know, that maybe are widowed and they don't know what to, you know, so, seriously. I mean, we go, we love on them, take our time, and, you know, you got to build that trust. Trust is everything.
Absolutely.
Trust is everything.
Well, it goes with the old adage, people don't care what you know until they know that you care.
That's right.
Bottom
Absolutely.
line.
Yeah.
Can we jump into some topic now, buddy? I wanted to really ask you on the withdrawal rate, withdrawal risk, you know, the old 4% rule. Right. Why is that concerning, and what should people know about that?
Well, that's another thing coming down the mountain we're talking about, right? We're coming to this phase of coming down, that some of the risks we got to look at that are totally different than on accumulation. There was a gentleman named Bingen, I think it is, in 1994. He theorized that if you take 60% stock, 40%, right, of bonds, that your money would last a lifetime, right? Well, let's think about this. First off, it's a theory.
Yeah.
But the other thing is this: what was inflation back then? You know, right? What were taxes? I know it wasn't 8.5%.
You're exactly right.
Right.
Yeah.
So there are factors that of today that doesn't apply. And as a matter of fact, what they're saying now, Paul, the experts are saying it's about 2.8 to 3%. Now think about that. You now have less money to go that distance. So we got to plan for that.
You got to have a solution.
You got to have a solution.
That gap.
Right. So that's part of what we do, as you know, with our Safe Money Scorecard, right, and our income analyzer.
All right.
We make sure that we got enough money to go the distance, and we fill those gaps for you.
Yeah.
And so that's part of what we offer our clients. Complimentary.
Yeah. And let me ask you this, Lynn, why is it so important to have a second opinion anyway? I mean, think about this. I mean, folks go their whole life accumulating, right? They have someone who's helped them build it. Why is it important to have a second opinion?
Well, you know, that's interesting, because we get that a lot. You know, people have been with this particular broker or financial advisor for many, many years, you know. And the thing is, things change. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, you know, do you drive the same car? I mean,
no.
No. I mean, you know, so a lot of things change, and inflation is a totally different factor now. So we've got to, I think getting a second opinion is absolutely critical. I mean, when I had triple bypass, okay, in 2011, I think a lot of it was stress over what I went through with my wife.
Yeah.
They say many times that the caregiver goes before the you know, the patient or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
But at any rate, I had you know, this bypass, and my son Matt, he goes online. You know, he's young, he's really good at this, right? And he said, "Dad, the guy you're going to," he said, I think you need to get a second opinion, right? And I said, "Well, why?" He said, "Dad, I found this other guy over here.
Yeah.
This guy went to Harvard, okay?
Yeah.
This guy over here, Dad, he's only been practicing like 6, 7 years. This guy's been matter of fact, he's world renowned for some non-intrusive surgeries and using pig valves."
Wow.
All right. So he said, "Dad, I think you might want to get a second opinion."
Yeah, yeah.
So this guy's got my heart in his hands.
Sure, and literally, right?
Literally. So I think, folks, somebody's got your finances, right? And I got a partner who's done it 32 years. And I know that a lot of these financial advisors, they do not like annuities. You know why?
Yeah, why is that?
Because they don't get paid on it but one time. We're transparent. I tell folks, look, folks, on fixed index annuities, here's how we get paid. We get paid anywhere from 4 to 6%, just like a realtor, and we get paid by the insurance company. Never comes out of your money.
So none of the money comes out of your principal.
Absolutely. Now, your broker, now we do manage money, but we do it differently. I'll share that a little bit later. But my point is that we don't get paid year after year after year. These guys are going to get money, 1.5%, and then inside there's other fees, believe me. And they're going to get that every year. And oh, by the way, if you lose money, you still got to pay them.
That's exactly right.
Now, is that not the no, wait a minute, hold on a second.
Yeah.
I'm paying you a big portion, a chunk of money every year to lose my money.
Right.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
No, it doesn't. Not at all, which is why you're here.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what we do is we do things totally different. Even in the managed money part, we do it much safer.
That's good stuff to know. That's incredible stuff to know. And you mentioned something, you touched on it, and we've talked about it briefly, but I wanted to ask you a little bit more about inflation, because I don't know that I have ever recognized the impact of inflation as much as I have these days.
Yeah, it's, you know, I think, I don't know, back in 1981, I do remember, and I can't remember where inflation, but I know this is the highest it's been in probably 80 years.
As far as I can remember,
yeah. It's the highest it's been. But I do remember in 1981, I was actually in the high-tech world working for digital equipment. And my wife, Marcia, and I were buying a house, right? And we got a 13% interest rate. And we thought we were doing great because it went up to 18.
Yeah.
Mike, the guy next to me, one of my buddies, he bought a house around a little bit later, 18%. Can you imagine? I mean, it's crazy.
That's outrageous.
So I do remember those some times in our country, right? And what's going to happen now, Paul?
Yeah.
The Fed, I think today or tomorrow they meet. They're going to raise the rates again. They're going to be aggressively raising rates.
Yep.
Right. Now, what does that do for the bond market?
Yeah, what does it do exactly?
Bond market's going to drop, man. Okay, so you now have to start thinking, folks, about your portfolio, because you've been taught, oh, put a whole bunch in bonds, and that's you're going to be safe.
Yeah, preserve it there. Yep, that was the old way.
Not going to, folks. That's why you have to get a second opinion. Things have changed.
Yeah, it's interesting you're talking about that, because you and I were talking earlier about the importance of people reviewing more frequently because things are changing so rapidly, right?
Right.
Man?
Yeah. You know what we're going to do now, Paul?
What?
We're going to implement. We used to do in our CRM system. We always call you, right, on your anniversary date. So we'll do an annual review. All right, and we have to do with a lot of retirees. You really have to watch for their RMDs to help them make sure you get them ahead of time, because they're serious about getting their money back.
Yeah.
If you miss your RMDs, you know what the penalty is?
50%. Wow.
So they're real serious about getting their money.
That's huge.
So we got to help them. But my point is this. I think, and I believe what we're going to start doing, I'm going to talk to my partner, I want to start reviewing every 6 months.
Really?
At least give the client a call, because things are changing so fast.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's an incredible...
You know, and we got a lot of folks out there, I do a lot of work with ladies that are widowed and whatnot, and bless their hearts, they don't know what, they're not watching the market. They're not day traders.
True.
You know?
True.
So, yeah, we need to do it more frequently.
Well, and it's so important to be proactive.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
How can you be reactive in the market? Once you're reactive in the market, it's too late.
Too late.
Way too late.
Yeah.
So speaking of that topic, speaking of being proactive, do me a favor. Would you tell the good folks of South Florida what you're offering today if they reach out and get that income analyzer?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, folks, just reach out. I take all my calls personally. You're going to talk to Len, all right? The number's 844-299-0355. Again, that's 844-299-0355. And folks, what we're going to do is you're going to get my book, a new book called 5 Steps to a Safe and Successful Retirement. And you're going to get it in a kit. You're going to get my information kit, Safe Money Information Kit. In there, when I gather some data from you, we're going to do the Safe Money Scorecard, which is going to show you the 4 top annuities, right? Fixed index annuities. We don't do variables. All right, and we're going to show you that and the features, the benefits, how it works. And then we're also going to do the income analyzer. We're going to gather some data, make sure your money's going to go the distance, folks. We take a look at what you got coming in, what is your goal, and we got to take into factor what? Inflation and taxes, right? So we're going to do that, and then we're going to put together this plan for you and say, hey, how far is your money going to go? And if there are gaps, we got to figure out how to fill them, all right? We're going to talk about that together. How do we fill those gaps?
We've all heard tomorrow never comes. Well, my question for you, what if it does? And your money isn't ready for it? What are you going to do? Right now is an opportunity to make sure that you can guarantee your income. That's what you want anyway, to make sure that your money never runs out. But you got to take action. You got to take the first step. You got to invest in the phone call. 844-299-0355. Give Lynn and his team a call. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these short messages.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Welcome back, everyone, to Let's Talk Safe Money. Again, I'm your host, 𝒂𝒂𝒄𝒕𝒊𝒗𝒆, with my special guest, Mr. Lynn Strickler of LS Financial. Lynn, I want to jump right in on this topic because this isn't important. I mean, this is really, really important. Why don't people embrace change?
Yeah, you know, that's interesting because we were talking about, folks that keep their, advisor or their broker or whatever for years, right? And we talked about the fact that, you change automobiles, you change, everything changes over time, right? But it's really interesting. People really resist change. It reminds me of my son. He was a good baseball player. He's a good hitter.
Okay.
And he was getting ready they were going to bring him up to varsity. Okay. And he's in 9th grade now. He's a freshman. They want to jump him from sophomore up into the big boys, right?
Yeah.
And they want him to be a designated hitter. And so I take him to Brad Wellman. He was a pro. He used to play for the Kansas City Royals. And so he starts working with Matt, right? And you see, Matt could rip a fastball. I mean, in 9th grade, he could knock it over a major league field, right fielder. Not center field, but I mean, he could knock a ball a mile. And so he could hit, and he had his wide stance and everything. Well, Brad knew that he was coming up to another league. Now think about it. Here's a 9th grader, right? Maybe 14 or 15, I don't know. And he's going to be against guys that probably chewing tobacco.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are 18, you know, I mean, they're,
yeah.
right? And they're on that mound, and they're big boys on that mound.
Yeah, they're chucking it, right.
And they're throwing junk.
Yep.
So he says, Matt, he said, look, I know you can hit a fastball. He said, but Matt, you can't hit a curveball. Matt, you know, well, I can hit a curveball, coach, you know. So anyway, he says, all right, look, Matt, I'm going to throw a fastball. I'm telling you what's coming. Okay, bam, he rips. He's to Matt. Here comes the curveball. He throws a curveball. He almost falls over.
Yeah, he break his neck.
Almost broke his neck.
Yep.
And it was interesting because I asked Paul, I asked Brad, I said, well, you know, Brad, you're struggling with it. He said, Len, don't worry about it. He said, listen, Matt's been very successful doing what he's been doing, but he's getting into another league.
Yeah.
Folks, I'm going to tell you what, you may have been very successful, but this market has changed, okay? All right? We've got to talk about it, and we got to look at the paradigm shift. Right?
Yeah.
You've got to look at and get a second opinion, folks. You got to look at this change thing, and it's really hard for people. It really is. It's a psychological thing. You know, when I was in the high tech world, you know, I was managing people. If you moved a person's desk 5 inches, they'd freak out.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you know,
What happened?
People don't like change.
You're right. You're right.
They
about
resist
that.
it.
You're right.
But folks, look, it's not going to hurt. Come in and get a second opinion.
Yeah.
We'll work with you. We'll take our time.
Yeah. Let's get into that a little bit. Can we come back and talk someone on the market? Because I think that's probably a big part of why people don't change their financial direction is because in those accumulation years, especially in the last 10, 12 years, Lynn, the market's done well and they've made a great deal of money.
That's true.
So why is it important for them to really look at the diversification side, though, maybe in rebalancing some of the assets now that they've built it up?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. You hit it on the head. I mean, they need to look at what's going on in the market today, right? I mean, the rates are going to continue to go up. Okay, Fed's going to raise them. What happens to the bond market? We already talked about that. It's going to start dropping. So that allocation that you have, and you got to look at that, folks. You may have a lot of bonds, and that may have been the right strategy back here, but it may not be the right strategy going forward. So, yeah, we really want to help folks take a look at that and help them, you know. And again, it is change, and you said it right. Look, I have my brother, he's funny, he's 10 years younger than me, and he says, Len, you know, because I'm telling him, brother, please get some of your money in a safe place, you know. And he's going, no, man, the market's been great, man. I've been ripping it. And he said, what, couple, 40%? I said, I know, I get it, I understand. But what goes up will come down, okay? And there's a big tsunami coming, okay? All the indicators are there. If we have 2 quarters like we did, negative 1.4 GDP, another quarter like that, we're moving into a recession, folks. And so I'm really begging my brother to please. But again, there's my brother.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yes.
But guess what? He's got those good gains.
Yep.
So it's really hard. We have to really educate. One of the things, folks, if you want to do, go to my website, lssafemoney.com. lssafemoney.com. A lot of resources out there. I want you to get educated and understand where we are making recommendations and why. A lot of great resources out there. Got a lot of videos. Got some of us on there.
Yeah.
The TV
and
radio.
I understand you got a really nice radio program too, right?
Got a great radio program there in at WIOD in the Miami area. Also WFTL up in West Palm. And we got a TV show on Fox Sunday mornings at 1 o'clock on Channel 7.
Yeah. It was interesting you were sharing that story about your brother. I call that growth addiction.
Yeah,
it's very easy to be addicted to growth in the stock market. That's very easy to do, right?
You made that up, didn't you?
I did, but it's easy to do because I've fallen prey to it myself. We all do. Absolutely right. But you being such a valid point of you just got to understand the value of time, though. Now
that's true.
It's so much more valuable, right?
Right?
And so you've invested the time. You've got this large nest egg. You've got to at least protect a portion of it.
You know, that's a good point, Paul. You're right. My brother's still got time. See, when you're younger, my son, they got time.
Got time, right?
We get our age, right?
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah. Well, you're 5 years from retirement. You got to start looking at it very differently.
Absolutely.
So let's say, you know, the folks out there are very curious, obviously, and they want to know more, right? What do they need to do today?
Just give me a call. Pick up the phone, folks. Okay, I'm going to personally. I will take all my calls. Okay, it's 844-299-0355. That's 844-299-0355. We're going to talk about these things that we've talked about. We're going to look at the income analyzer, making sure your money goes the distance. Okay, looking at your portfolio now, folks. We need to look at it. How's it balanced out? My partner Art is phenomenal at doing this stuff. Okay. And we'll go in and find out the fees you're paying too, by the way, and what impact that's going to have. Very important. And we'll do the income analyzer. We'll also do the Safe Money Scorecard, showing you the 4 top annuities, A-rated companies. We don't do anything but A-rated companies, big, strong, safe companies. And then we're going to show you the features and the benefits. We'll show you the returns, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're transparent, folks. We share it all. Just give me a call, all right? Not going to hurt. 844-299-0355.
Good stuff. Think about your relationships, all the successful ones in your life. Every one of them took a partner. Who's your partner in retirement? Who do you trust to make sure that you have the peace of mind? Not when you start to retire, but all the way through retirement. It's important. Change doesn't happen, though, without your investment. Pick up the phone. Give Lynn and his team a call, 844-299-0355. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these messages.
When was the last time you saw your financial professional? Are you getting the most out of the strategy that was created for you? Although you've done a great job finding someone to help plan for your future, are you 100% sure that you were given the right strategy? We can help answer these questions and more with a complimentary second opinion evaluation. We will take a look at what you have in place and then help determine if you're well positioned to get the most out of your future retirement income. In the event that it is not, we can help by making suggestions and showing you how to get on the right path. You wouldn't get just one opinion when it comes to a major health decision, so why would you treat your most important financial decision with such disregard? Call today for your no-cost, no-obligation second opinion evaluation to see if you're getting the most out of your retirement income plan.
Welcome back, everybody, to Let's Talk Safe Money. I'm your host, 𝒑𝒂𝒄𝒕𝒊𝒗𝒆, and again, my special guest, Mr. Lynn Strickler of LS Financial, in the greater South Florida areas, right?
Right, correct.
And, listen, buddy, I just got to ask you this question. I mean, you're an incredibly passionate guy. Where does the passion come from?
Well, it's interesting. I appreciate that because I am passionate about what I do, right?
Yep.
Just a short story. 2 times. Now, this is in 2000. You remember the tech bubble?
Oh, okay. Do I ever?
Now, I was in the high-tech world, and I was doing very well. I was very blessed, and I got a nice windfall when we sold the company. We took it from $1.18 to $18. Okay? Nice. I was an executive. I had some nice options, right? And so. But in that, I was in the market, okay? I mean, back then it was crazy. Everything was about eyeballs, razorfish.com, all these flypaper.com. It was crazy.
Yeah,
and I'm in Silicon Valley, and it's even crazier.
Yes.
And so, we got all caught up in it, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so we started investing. Qualcomm, I'll never forget, went up to 700.
Yeah, I do.
And we rode it all the way back down to about 30. Oh, it's coming back.
Yeah,
it's coming back.
We rode that horse all the way.
All the way.
Yeah.
And so I've been there, okay? I've been there. And I don't want to see people lose money, especially in retirement. Now, I had time to catch up. Okay, I was younger. I did it again, like a dummy. I take the money, and I moved to Florida, right? Built a beautiful home in Punta Gorda on 2-tip lot. I'm set, right? So what does Len do? He says, I'm pretty smart now. I'm going to get into real estate. Yep. Right? And I'm also going to own a mortgage company. And I'm going to get the mortgages on the properties, right? So me and a partner, we end up doing it. We had beautiful properties right on the beach, down in Naples, Florida, right near the Ritz. We were getting $3,000 a week for these places. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was going great. And all of a sudden, and that's what I keep telling my brother, please, you don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah, you're right.
And it happened. 08 hit, and Paul.
Yeah.
I had jump out of window money.
That's interesting.
And so my point to all that, folks, is I've been there, okay? I know what it's like to lose money. I know what it's like when I lost all that money. My wife left me and went up to my brothers. I mean, it just blew her mind. How could you do that? How could you lose that kind of money?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite sayings about a wise man, right? The wise man learns from the experience of others.
Yeah.
The experience of others is important for you to make good decisions. You pay attention to what's
going on. And that's what I want to do with folks today. So you asked me why I'm passionate.
Yeah.
I don't want to see you lose any money, folks. And when you come to land, particularly in the fixed index annuities, folks, I'm putting your money on the green line. You're going to go up or sideways, up or sideways. You're not going to lose any money, never. Look, you lose your principal. That's important in retirement because we can't afford to lose money. They ask Warren Buffett, what are some of the rules? What's rule number one? He said, don't lose money. He said, well, what's rule number two? He said, see rule number one.
See rule one. I read that.
You can't lose money when you're coming down that mountain.
So important.
Very important. And that's why I'm passionate, Paul. I mean, I don't want to see anybody lose their money. Okay, I've been there. And it can impact your family, impacted my boys.
Everything you do.
Everything you do.
Everything you do. And that's one of the key components. I mean, we do this financial program, right? We're talking about people's retirement. Why? Think of one aspect in your life that doesn't involve money.
Yeah, that's right.
It's literally impossible to do anything without it.
That's right. Absolutely.
And now with inflation, as we talked about, right? We've talked about that. We beat that horse to death. But man, it's brutal right now. But it's nice to know that you can inflation-proof your portfolio.
Yeah.
Can't you, Lynn?
Absolutely. And you know one of the ways you do that?
How?
You do that. Matter of fact, we also have a movie that we share, right?
Really?
That it's an AMC theaters. We're showing it in South Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's called The Baby Boomer Dilemma, right? And it's got two Nobel economists in here, right, talking about inflation, and it's got a guy named 𝒂𝒂𝒄𝒕𝒊𝒗𝒆. He was a fellow at the Wharton School of Business, and he did his dissertation on hedging inflation.
Really?
Yeah, really interesting. In the movie, he's in this movie, but they talk about pension plans and how some of those are not funded properly. I mean,
no, they're not.
It's pretty bad.
Yep.
They talk about Social Security.
Yeah.
And the one lady on there says that, folks, I'm telling you, and she's in charge of this right now. She's the big way up there, and she says, you're probably going to have 1/3 of your Social Security go away.
Wow, that's huge in number.
And they do say 2034 is out of money.
Wow.
So those are the kind of things that are in this movie, right? So that's something that we'd like to get out to the folks.
Yep, absolutely,
Okay?
and I think that'd be an incredible tool for them to check that movie
absolutely.
out. So the good folks out there in South Florida, you want to help them protect their retirement. What do they need to do, buddy?
I'll tell you what, folks. The first 10 people that call, right? I'll send you a little card, and I'll send you the movie, okay? And all you do is put your email in there, all right? And you go ahead and it takes the value away. It's the $30 value. It zeroes it out. And you put a code in, and you own the movie. It's your movie. First 10 callers, 844-299-0355. That's 844-299-0355. Give me a call, folks. I'll get that movie in your hands. You'll love it.
Good stuff. Change your tomorrow today. Pick up the phone and give Lynn and his team a call. 844-299-0355. Thank you for being with us. Be well and enjoy your retirement.